Good morning, fellow Guardians. So first things first, before I get into the video, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone. I've actually reached 250 subscribers, which is 249 more than I thought I'd have at this point, so thank you very much for that. Without further ado, let's get into the video though. Now, this week is the Proving Grounds of Grandmaster. Week 6, this is going to be the last one of this season, so the last one of these videos. I apologise. Now, this will be the last one for your Conquest Seal or Guild of Conquest Seal, whichever you're going for. Now, the Proving Grounds is not an easy Grandmaster. It was very difficult the first time it rolled round, but we're hoping this time it might be a little bit easier, a bit like the Corrupted was, a lot easier. So let's get into the builds. Now, first off, I've gone for a Titan. This is the solo build I'm actually gone for. So it covers everything. So in Proving Grounds, there is Arc, Void, and Solar Shields, so accommodate for all of those. There is also Anti-Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, which is not the easiest. Ideally, I'd prefer Overload and Unstoppable, but there you go. So I've gone for the Forward Path, Auto Rifle, obviously. Now that was for the Anti-Barrier. I've also gone for the Ariana's Vow. Now the Ariana's Vow, I've been really enjoying. You need it Masterwork because it will bump it up from the 6 magazine to a 9 magazine, which really does help, especially if you're soloing stuff. This is because it will do anti-barrier champions. It's nice to have this because the range in it is quite surprising as well. You could change if you were comfortable enough. You could change from the forward path to something else, but I like having a kinetic weapon to have anti-barrier as well. So then you've got 2 anti-barriers there, and I've gone for the linear fusion rifles, obviously for the unstoppable. Make sure you've got those mods on as well, because many times people will go into a Grandmaster and forget they've got them on and think it's not working. So obviously all the shields are covered here. I've gone for a Void Super, Solar Energy, and a Arc Heavy. I like the Tarantula, some people don't, but whatever you want to use, it will work, just accommodate things around. If you are going solo, I'd probably recommend a Hunter for the Invis. It will help a lot, especially in that final boss room. But the Titan, if you want to run a Titan, that's fine. I'd probably recommend the Top Tree Bubble, just for a bit of protection if you need it. And I've gone for the Crest of Alpha Loopy. This is because this is one of the only ways you can actually heal as a Titan, unless you want to run the one-eyed mask and things, but this is definitely better. So every time you pop a barricade, you'll heal a little bit, which is definitely helpful if you're going solo. Apart from that, in terms of mods, Particle Deconstruction is definitely one of the best mods this season. If you haven't got that from the artifact, I suggest you get it. This is just so you can deal more damage. Once you use a fusion rifle, you'll notice like a big purple aura around the enemy, and you can just consistently do more damage, so it's definitely worth doing. In terms of mod-wise though, Powerful Friends mixed with Radiant Light really helps. That'll bump your mobility and your strength. As you can see there, I just have copious amounts of mobility and strength there. Protective Light, as you can see on this one, is really helpful. So once you charge with light, you gain significant damage resistance. Now, the best mod to run with that is taking charge, when just by picking up an orb, you become charge of light. So obviously then you've got more damage resistance, so it's really helpful. In terms of stat-wise, I like to have at the top 3 above 60. Some people prefer intellect higher, but it's really what you're going to be running. But that's basically it for the solo build. Let's move on to the Warlock. Now, for the Warlock, I'm going to start doing the team builds from this point. So for the Warlock, I have gone for the Well of Radiance. The Well of Radiance is... The Warlock helps tremendously. There's 2 supers which are just really helpful for the Warlock. Now, I've gone for the Well of Radiance. Some people prefer the Stasis. The only downside with Stasis, obviously, is there's no Stasis shields, so you're wasting that sort of solar grenade and solar ability shield breakers, essentially. But Stasis is very good, mainly for the Bleak Watcher turret. Very helpful, and it would probably help tremendously in that sort of second area, just before you drop down into where the tanks are in the Proving Grounds, which is a very difficult area to be in. With that though, I think when we did it last time, we stayed up the top and took out as much as we could before dropping down, and that's when you could chain wells, you could change chain bubbles and things like that. But I've gone for the well. If you are going to run well, I'd run it with Phoenix Protocol. If you're going to run the Stasis, I would run it with the Eye of Another World, just so you can get more ability regen and get your grenade back faster. Okay, so in terms of the weapons for the next character, I've actually gone for the Vex. Now, don't worry if you haven't got the Vex, you can run sort of any fusion rifle, but I think the Vex is really, really good because it uses kinetic ammo, so you could, in theory, if you wanted to, run something different, like an ignition covers and blinding grenades, whatever you want to use. But the Vex works really, really well with the unstoppable fusion rifle and with the particle deconstruction. So all of that will come from the Vex, and that uses primary ammo, so definitely worth doing if you've got one. That will help tremendously. It doesn't have to be masterwork, doesn't make too much of a difference with this, mainly for PvP more so. And obviously linear fusion rifles for the heavy. So that's what I've gone for the Warlock. Okay, so moving on from there, let's have a look at what we got on the Hunter. Now in terms of the Hunter, I've gone for some old favourites anyway. I'm going to go for Void. I think the invisibility is really going to help in that final boss room more than Stasis. However, if you're a Stasis main, chuck on your Stasis, chuck off your Omnioculus or your Sixth Coyote, and definitely put on the Aeon Swifts. I say this in every video just because of the Sector of Insight, which is the one I'd recommend. Just because every time you finish an enemy or a champion, you're going to get heavy ammo for your teammates, which is really, really helpful in any of the boss rooms or just throughout the entire Grandmaster. But I like to go for the Night Stalker for the bottom tree, just to make yourself and your teammates invisible. And obviously pair that with the bottom tree dodge, just to get your melee ability back. I know it's melee. And I tie it with Omnioculus, but you could use a Sixth Coyote with top tree if you wanted. Although there has been a bit of a build change at the moment. I was actually introduced by Bravilli not long ago that you could be running I haven't actually got on this character now, the Graviton Forfeit helmet. Now, with that, you can make yourself invisible either bottom tree or top tree for anywhere between 7 to 10 seconds, which is really, really helpful in the Grandmaster, just to try and stay alive. Obviously, you only got the one ability then, but as long as you tie it with a dodge to an enemy, you'll be fine. Okay, so in terms of the weapons for the final character, I've gone for an old favourite, the Sleeper Simulant. Now, some people might prefer the 1K, which is fine, chuck that on, but obviously you only get 8 rounds with the 1K, whereas you get a lot more with the Sleeper. So for ammo and things, definitely worth the Sleeper is probably better. If you got it masterwork, it doesn't really matter, it only reduces the charge time, it's not essential. But obviously definitely pair that with the particle deconstruction and the correct mod as well, the unstoppable fusion rifles. So as you can see, I've gone for the main ingredient. Now, this is a bit of an unusual one, but you can go for any sort of fusion rifle you like. Again, I've gone for a fusion rifle just for that unstoppable fusion rifle mod, just for an extra bit, just in case you run out of that heavy ammo. It's nice to have that sort of backup special just in case. Just make sure you've got your ammo finder mods as well. And I've gone for a kinetic auto rifle, obviously for the anti-barrier. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching this season, guys, and supporting the channel. It's been an absolute pleasure to do all the videos as usual. I've actually had more this season than I've ever had in terms of subscribers and things. So I just want to say thank you very much, and I'll do some little videos in between now and next season's Grandmasters, but that'll be it for the Grandmasters for this season. Thank you very much, guys. Toodles.